This video contains my reviews for all three books in the Graystripe's Adventure manga trilogy. The books are fine by themselves, but I prefer the color version, which has all three books together in one volume. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and enjoy my reviews. The Lost Warrior is the first manga ever written based on the Warrior series. It's the first in a trilogy called Graystripe's Adventure. I'm sure it was a huge relief to fans to learn Graystripe's returning to the series. Graystripe is a good character. I did not like it when he was kicked out of the series to make room for Brambleclaw as the clan's new second in command. Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review. The book starts with a prologue, which shows the scene from Book 9, where Graystripe nobly sacrifices himself to save other cats. It's 1 week later. Graystripe has been living with a family of humans. The kids seem to love him, but he can't stand it here. He wants to get back home to the forest. The first time he steps outside, he's overwhelmed by all the noises and smells. Like he's never heard things before. The kids try to cheer him up with a toy mouse, but he gets mad and destroys it when he realizes it's not a real mouse. That was a sad scene, and it's basically the last we see of the human kids. It makes me wish Graystripe stayed with the humans who love him and he became their good pet, but obviously he can't do that. This is the Warriors series. He has to resume life as a warrior. Graystripe is scared by dogs and cars when he tries exploring. He's attacked by an angry cat named Duke. Graystripe loses the fight, and he worries he's losing his warrior skills. A friendly she-cat named Millie helps him find the way back to the house. That night he dreams of Silverstream and Feathertail, his dead wife and daughter. Millie takes Graystripe to a small forest clearing. He teaches her about hunting and fighting. They spend days doing warrior training and enjoying each other's company. They get a chance to test out their skills for real when Duke and two friends start a fight. Graystripe easily wins, and he gets all mopey because that wasn't a real fight. I'm not a warrior anymore. And so, when Millie encourages Graystripe to rejoin the warriors, Graystripe starts whining. I can't do it. You don't understand me. And he runs away. When did Graystripe become an angry teenager? Graystripe has another dream, where Silverstream encourages him to rejoin the warriors. That instantly gets rid of all of his reservations. He goes to Millie and tells her the good news that he's leaving to be a warrior again. He asks Millie to join him. She's not sure. She wants some time to decide if she should leave her owner. Graystripe figures that means no, so he leaves without her. Rude. Graystripe struggles to leave the human territory by himself. He gets sick with fever and almost dies. When Millie appears, she nurses him back to health. She tells him about the difficult journey she had tracking him down. He tells her about Silverstream. Graystripe used to miss Silverstream a lot, but he's not lonely anymore, now that he has Millie. The two lovers set off to find the clans together. The end. Post-book follow-up. I thought this was a cute little story. Graystripe finds a new girlfriend, and he decides to leave his life with the humans so he can rejoin his clan. I'm satisfied with the story as it is, while still eager to check out the sequel. The art is fine. I think Millie looks better than Graystripe does. Graystripe's eyebrows make him look constantly mad and angry. I think Graystripe not being a warrior anymore is a good idea, which wasn't developed enough. It's been 2 weeks at most. He can't have forgotten everything. Instead, he acts like it's hopeless, and he complains he can't ever be a warrior again, until the last chapter. That's kind of a problem with the story. I feel like the real Graystripe would run away from the humans immediately, instead of leaving the house and coming back multiple times. But if he didn't stick around the humans for a while, he wouldn't have met Millie. Overall, I liked it. It's a 90-page graphic novel with a simple story which entertained me, even if the normally jovial Graystripe spent most of his time complaining. I honestly wouldn't mind that much if the Warriors series was shorter, standalone stories like this, instead of massive interconnected epics which take days to read. I give Warriors Graystripe's Adventure number 1, The Lost Warrior, a 4 out of 5. Graystripe and Millie are headed to the forest. They have fun going through the wilderness, they lie in the grass together, and talk about the stars. Am I the only one who is getting major Lion King vibes from this scene? Argo Book Review, Argo Book Review. Millie and Graystripe go through a cornfield. They are separated when they get scared by a harvesting machine. Graystripe finds a group of hostile barn cats who reluctantly help find Millie. Her eyes are so badly injured that she has to stay here at the barn for a few chapters while she recovers. The barn cats explain they used to be house cats until their owners died. The farm's new owners hate cats, and they have vicious dogs. The cats have been forced to hide in the barn ever since. Graystripe experiences the trouble firsthand when a human sprays him with a hose and sicks the dogs on him. The next time the dogs chase Graystripe, Millie saves him by telling the dogs to stop. There's a cute picture of that on the cover. That's not what the scene looks like in the book, but I do think it's really cute how Graystripe's like, "Oh wow, my girlfriend's the best!" Everyone's shocked that Millie speaks dog language. How did she learn to speak dog? I don't know. She never explains where she learned it. Maybe she has magic powers. Maybe she's the chosen one. Or maybe she watched a lot of dog shows on TV. Millie teaches the other cats how to say basic commands in dog language. It's fairly useful. I'm surprised it never gets mentioned in the main Warriors series. You'd think a cat who speaks dog would make for interesting stories. A few days later, the human toddler is in the backyard by herself, chasing a frog. Graystripe sees she might fall into the pond and drown, so he saves her life by being as cute as he possibly can. Look at that little face! No one could resist such a good kitty! Saving the toddler's life convinces the humans that cats are good. Graystripe purposely leads them to the barn cats. It's a happy ending for the cats and humans. Not so much for Graystripe and Millie. They resume their journey to the forest. Graystripe is horrified to see the forest has been completely bulldozed. The end. Post-book follow-up. The common complaint about this book is Husker's hair. Why does Husker have hair? Because it looks cool, that's why. I thought this was a fun story, but admittedly it doesn't have to exist. The trilogy would be fine without this second part. If you skip the book, you wouldn't miss much. The characters and events don't ever appear again, even though talking to dogs should be a major thing that rocks the world of the clans. I wish the story gave us some major character development for Graystripe and Millie. That was a lost opportunity. Take my complaints with a grain of salt, because I really did enjoy this book. It's my favorite of the trilogy. It's a fun little side story where Graystripe saves some barn cats from mean humans. I think the cover's great, and I can't resist a book where Graystripe is so cute. I give Graystripe's Adventure 2, Warrior's Refuge, a 5 out of 5. The first two books in the Graystripe trilogy are 4 chapters long. This third book has no chapters. I don't know why they forgot to add chapter headings to this book. Argo Book Review, Argo Book Review. Graystripe is devastated to see that the forest has been destroyed. Millie is fairly confident that the cats must have moved somewhere else. No one would be dumb enough to stay here and die. Oh, Millie, it is sad how wrong you are about that. Graystripe remembers the cats met midnight near the ocean. He says they have to go west. I'm honestly surprised the warrior cats use the word west. I would have expected them to use a cat term like sundown region. On the way, he stops by Ravenpaw's barn. Ravenpaw says the last time he saw the warrior cats was in Dawn, when the four clans traveled together. Ravenpaw says that was many years ago, which is a problem with the trilogy. According to the main series, Graystripe is gone for many years. This means Graystripe's journey to find the clans has to last for many years. And yet, according to this trilogy, it's more like 2 months. Even if I'm being super generous with the time here, I can't say with a straight face that each one of these books is a year long. The journey goes through human territory. Graystripe and Millie get into an argument because she wants to break into a human house and steal food. Graystripe refuses to eat human food. That's against the warrior code. Later, Millie wants to take a road which goes around a sheep pen. Graystripe refuses to use a human road. That's against the warrior code. He insists on going through the sheep, which is a dumb move that almost gets them trampled to death. I highly doubt warrior code says you can't use a path that humans use. The cats have done that so many times before. Graystripe did that earlier in this book, even. I think he's just making stuff up because he's grumpy. Millie says Graystripe's stubbornness almost got them killed, but he refuses to abandon his proud warrior heritage. When they arrive at a truck stop, Millie goes through a cat flap and eats some food, while Graystripe sulks. He goes inside to get food for himself, but he's chased off by a waitress. He goes back to Millie and yells at her for being a dumb kitty pet with bad ideas. Hey, it's not her fault you're bad at being sneaky. Millie says, "You don't mean those things," when Graystripe is hit by a car. Fortunately, it's a mild shoulder wound, which should heal on its own pretty soon. A local cat named Diesel helps them out. Graystripe gets jealous of Diesel. He realizes he's never told Millie how he feels about her, but he never gets a good chance. Either she is playing nurse or Diesel is there. Graystripe tries confessing the truth to her when she says they should get to the ocean by catching a ride on the back of a pickup truck. Graystripe thinks it's too dangerous, but they are willing to take the risk for each other. Partway through the ride, the truck stops. They go out to find food and water when some local cats start a fight. They don't believe Millie when she says she's a pet. This is a big deal for her. She's now so much of a warrior cat, pets no longer accept her as one of their own. And yet, in the main series, the warrior cats badmouth her as just a pet, not a true warrior. Poor Millie doesn't fit in anywhere now. They fight off the cats and resume the ride to the ocean. Graystripe sees the new forest close by. On the way there, he has a serious talk with Millie, where he says she saved his life and his soul. She agrees to be his new mate, and they arrive during a clan gathering, as seen in Warriors: The Sight. The end. Post-book follow-up. I didn't like this book as much as the others. I think the problem is that so much of the story is inevitable, and therefore predictable. We know the book ends with Graystripe returning to ThunderClan. We know this from the title. Also, this book came out the same day as Power of Three Outcast, so anybody who's been reading the main series knows that Graystripe returns. So we know ahead of time that the book starts with Graystripe at the ruined forest and ends with him at the new forest. From there, it's safe to predict that Ravenpaw or one of the other left-behind cats will help guide him, and he'll have to go to the Sundrown place, like in the main series. The only surprise to me is that he went through a truck stop instead of going through the mountains and meeting the tribe of rushing water. I think Diesel was okay, but Graystripe clearly overreacted in thinking of Diesel as a romantic rival. I didn't like the fight between Millie and Graystripe, because it was mostly Graystripe being a jerk to her, but it was nice to see them make their relationship official at the end. I give Graystripe's adventure number 3, Warrior's Return, a 3 out of 5.